Hello and welcome to the Aamir Qutub Show, India's leading show for jobs and careers. If you are looking for your first job, thinking of switching jobs, or seeking the best career guidance, then this is the place for you. To all our subscribers out there, thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or advice, you can get in touch with us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you can visit our website www.aamirqutub.com. Presenting Aamir Qutub, CEO of the Aamir Qutub Academy.
All right, so we are live. Hello, everyone. This is Aamir Qutub. And if you're watching me on YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Facebook, today is our live Q&A session, and the theme is finding your dream career. So I encourage you to send your question in the comment section. It's pretty simple. Just send your question in the comment section, whether you're watching it on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, and then I'll respond to it. And if you're watching this video after it was live, still feel free to send your question in the comments, and I'll address it in my next videos. So we've got a few people that are actually live over here. So we'll go through, and don't worry, we'll go through all of the comments and we'll try to address all of the questions. So I'll take the first question that was sent to me earlier. It was, I'm in the middle of my graduation, but I don't know what to do once I complete it. Please suggest some options to choose after completing your graduation. So this is a very common question that a lot of students ask me, is that they are in middle of their graduation or they have completed their graduation, but they are still not sure where to build their career in. So like, you can develop your career in many fields, and you could choose probably a mediocre career, or you could go a straight way. And a successful career is actually made by combining your skills and your interests. So the skills are the ones that you gain through your graduation or your degree, or sometimes you don't even gain those skills through your degree, but you gain those skills by participating in extracurricular activities, working on projects, doing internships, doing some freelancing gigs. So you have to combine your skills with whatever you are interested in. It's very simple. I've explained it in one of my videos, which is about hybrid career. Just to repeat, the hybrid career options are where you're not going it the way everyone is doing it, because everyone right now is following the masses. So if one is going in this direction, if there's a trend thing in India where if someone is doing an MBA, then everyone will start doing an MBA. Someone is preparing for PSU, everyone will start doing PSU. Whereas we are not looking for a lot of different options that are actually not in the box, that are outside the box. So you need to look at some of those options that are actually in outside your box. And that's where these hybrid career options come in. So what are actually hybrid career options? So hybrid career options is where you combine your skills and then you combine your interests. For example, if you've got skills in technology, you are studying a computer's degree or an engineering degree, but your interest lies in sports, then you can actually develop your career in sports technology. Similarly, if your skills lies in content writing, or if you are interested in content writing, but you have got an engineering background, you can actually go in technical writing. So you have to look at, okay, what course am I doing? Where are my skills and where are my interests? And just combine those two things to develop a career. Now I'll take a question from the audience here. So we have got question from AB, which is, sir, I'm pursuing BTech in electrical engineering, and this is my final year. I was so confused about my future plan. What will I do, MBA or MTech? Now, again, I have talked a lot about this. People always ask me what to do after BTech. Should I do MBA or MTech? My question is, why to do any of these? Like, what is the reason that you are not going for a job directly after graduation? And I would tell you that India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh are the only countries in the world where people would do a technical degree and do not gain any experience and go for masters. Look, masters is good and PhD is good if you want to go into academics or you want to specialize in any field. The thing is that you haven't developed your interest in any particular field while you are in engineering. So it's always better and it's always recommended that you go and gain some experience first and understand about the industry, how the business works, and then come back and do either an MBA or MTech, depending upon where your interest lies, rather than everyone is doing an MBA, so I'll do an MBA, or everyone is doing an MTech, so I'll do an MTech. That's the wrong approach. So you have to stay away from that approach and ensure that you are doing something where your passion lies, and rather than just choosing what everyone is choosing. So I hope I answered that question. I'll take another question. So it's from Instagram. It's by Om Chaturvedi. Advice for a 17-year-old entrepreneur. Well, it's a very good question, and it's amazing that you are at a 17 years old age and you are asking for a question about entrepreneurship, or you're thinking about that career seriously. Because when I was 17 years old, I had no idea where I want my career to be in. So I wasn't sure about it at all. So this is probably a good age where you should start thinking about where your interest lies. So rather than thinking about, okay, I want to be an entrepreneur, I want to go in job, that's a question that could be figured out later. The thing that you need to figure out is, where does your interest lie? Where does your passion lies? Identify that field and explore that field. And doesn't matter whether you are in 10th class or 12th class, or you have completed your graduation or master's, doesn't matter at all. You can gain skills at any particular age. So the online courses are available. There are a lot of material that's actually available online. Education is available for free. You have to purchase the degrees. You have to pay for the degrees. You have to sit in the entrance examination for the degrees. But if you are seeking education, the education is almost practically available for free. All you have to do is to learn those skills. And then people complain that they do not have any experience. And when you are going for jobs, you need to find experience to get jobs. The thing is that you can gain experience by something called gig economy or freelancing. Now, there are a lot of websites out there like Fiverr.com, Freelancer.com, Upwork.com, and there are like hundreds of websites nowadays where you can create your profile in whatever field you are interested in and start providing services in that profile. And a lot of people would wait for such a long time before they start applying for those jobs or start putting their gig out. The trick is that you start small. Even if you have got a bit of idea, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who would not have that idea, who would not understand how to do it, and they will be the one that will be looking for your service. So start providing those services. Doesn't matter even if you are 17 years old or 15 years old or you are 35 years old. As long as you have got some skills and you have got the willingness to learn, you can actually start freelancing, explore your career further from there. I hope I answered your question. Feel free to send me further questions if you have any. I'll take the next one here. Lavnish Kumar, hello sir. Hello Lavnish. Must lyrics. I'm 13 साल का हूँ, business कैसे करूँ? Okay, so if you have any questions in Hindi, and if you want me to answer them in Hindi, feel free to ask them in Hindi. Let me know, and I'm happy to answer those questions in Hindi. So what I just explained, I'll explain it in Hindi as well. इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि आप 13 साल के हो या फिर 35 साल के हो या 50 साल के हो. अगर आपके पास थोड़े से स्किल्स हैं और विलिंगनेस टू लर्न है, तो आप एज अ फ्रीलांसर वर्क करना आज से स्टार्ट कर सकते हो. आपको कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. डजंट मैटर कि आप किसी गांव में हो या किसी बड़े शहर में हो या दुनिया के किसी भी कोने में हो. इंटरनेट ने पूरी दुनिया को कनेक्ट कर रखा है और आप बहुत इजीली फ्रीलांसिंग वेबसाइट्स के थ्रू फ्रीलांसिंग कर सकते हो. अगर आपके पास स्किल्स नहीं है, तो स्किल सीखने के लिए ना आपको कोई कोर्स करने की जरूरत है, ना किसी यूनिवर्सिटी जाने की जरूरत है. सारी एजुकेशन आज फ्री मौजूद है. ये यूनिवर्सिटीज कॉलेजेस सिर्फ आपको ठग रहे हैं. ये जो डिग्री का जो जंजाल है, इससे बाहर निकलो. आपको डिग्री के लिए पैसे देने की जरूरत है, एजुकेशन हासिल करने के लिए पैसे देने की जरूरत नहीं है. आपको सारे कोर्सेज आजकल ऑलमोस्ट प्रैक्टिकली फ्री मिल जाएंगे, या फिर आपको कुछ हजार रुपए जो है वो खर्च करने पड़ेंगे और आपको सारे कोर्सेज यूडेमी जैसी वेबसाइट पे मिल जाएंगे. आपको क्या करना है? स्किल सीखने है और इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. स्किल सीखने, इम्प्लीमेंट करना है. ये जो कॉन्सेप्ट है ना कि आपने पहले 12 साल तो पढ़ाई करी, फर्स्ट टू 12th, फिर 4 साल आपने बीटेक किया या फिर कोई सी भी डिग्री करी, फिर उसके बाद 2 साल मास्टर्स किया, फिर पीएचडी, या फिर आप जॉब में गए. तो आपने अपनी जिंदगी के 23-24 साल बर्बाद कर दिए। उससे बेहतर वो इंसान है जिसने जब वो 12th में था या 10th में था स्किल्स अपने लर्न करना शुरू कर दिए, रियल वर्ल्ड स्किल्स उन्हें इंप्लीमेंट करना शुरू कर दिया। तो ये वेट मत करो कि मेरे पास जब ये सर्टिफिकेशन आ जाएगा तब मैं जाके मार्केट में उसे ट्राई करना शुरू करूंगा। आप थोड़ा सा भी सीखते हो उसको जाके ट्राई करो। आपको क्या लगता है, जब मैंने स्टार्ट किया था, व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड my business, I did not have a lot of idea about how to get started. When I started doing freelancing gigs, I was not aware. So my first freelancing gig was in website development, and I only knew a little bit about website development. I just used to take templates and develop the websites. But when a business approached me to develop a website for them, I did not say that I have to do one course and another course and complete my certification. I said, yes, I can do it. And then I figured it out on the job. And that's how you learn the best. So learning is not done just by reading the books and not implementing it. If you want to learn truly and if you want to develop yourself, you have to educate yourself, but implement that knowledge, which is pretty important part of the learning as well. All right, so I'll take questions from Instagram. Again, I'm mechanical engineer. I want to learn coding, which is more relevant. So first of all, my question to you is, if you are a mechanical engineer, why do you want to learn coding? I was a mechanical engineer. I learned coding because I identified that there was a challenge in my university. There was no social network out there. And I actually had a passion of creating something online that would connect the students. That allowed me to learn coding. I never studied coding. I just used to Google search, use websites like Stack Overflow, take the code and implement it. And I actually learned it on the job. So the very first question is, are you learning coding just because it's in trend? If it's in trend, don't do it. But if you are doing it because you are really passionate about it, really want to do it, the best way to learn it is actually take up a project. Think of a problem that you want to solve. It could be a problem in your village, a problem in your school or in your university. Think about an event that you want to create, probably a website for, or an app that would help students in one way or another, and then start learning. Now, the question is how to start learning the coding. Again, there's a lot of material that's actually available on YouTube itself. The best resource that I like is the courses on Udemy, because the courses, so the website is udemy.com, Udemy. The courses are pretty cheap to buy. You can buy them easily. And the thing is that those courses are pretty comprehensive. So I would just buy an online course. Again, don't do any regular coaching. Don't enroll in like a proper degree course. Just buy a very simple 1,000 rupees to 2,000 rupees course and learn it. But again, it's not about doing the classes and learning. Actually pick up a project that you want to do, and you would learn more by doing that particular project. So it's and that's how coding is different from other things. You can't learn coding or even any of those tech skills like creative skills. You can't learn them just by subscribing to a course. You actually have to implement it, and that's only when you would be able to learn it properly. I hope I answered that question. Now I'll move to the next one. लवनीश कुमार सर, मैंने एएमयू से 12th करी है और अब मैं एकेटीयू में हूँ. वेरी वेल डन. आप सैड क्यों हो भाई, मुझे बताओ कुछ, क्या प्रॉब्लम है? मैं 13 साल हूँ, मैं बिजनेस कैसे कर सकता हूँ? स्टे होम. ओके, अच्छा, ये तो आपका इमोजी है. आई थिंक मैंने आपका क्वेश्चन अभी ऑलरेडी आंसर कर दिया. इंजीनियर मुस्तफा भाई, फैन आरएम हॉल एएमयू, थैंक यू सो मच, लव यू भाई, थैंक्स अ लॉट. आप लोगों की दुआएं हैं जो मुझे इनकरेज करती हैं कि मैं वापस आऊँ, अपनी नॉलेज और जो भी मैंने सीखा है वो शेयर कर सकूँ आप लोगों से. अरुण सुथर, प्लीज रिप्लाई मी. सर आप क्वेश्चन पूछिए, आई विल डेफिनेटली रिप्लाई यू. कहीं मैंने आपका क्वेश्चन तो मिक्स नहीं कर दिया. सो वी हैव गॉट उस्मानी आजाद हु इज आस्किंग हाउ टू मार्केट योर सर्विसेज इन आईटी इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया. So I think you are asking this question, Usmani, if you are sitting in India and then you are asking how to market your services in Australia. Now, I would tell you that in Australia, as a business owner, I actually receive so many cold calls and things like that from all over around the world, and especially from India and Philippines. And it's just a bit upsetting, and there's a lot of competition out there. So the very first thing when you say I'm in an IT business, how to promote my services to Australia or wherever, The one thing that you are doing wrong is that IT is a very, very, very huge branch. So if someone says I'm a mechanical engineer, how to promote my services, right? So, or if if Virat Kohli says that I am a sports person, of course what he's saying is right. But if he goes to play football, he would not be allowed to he would not be allowed in a national team, although he's the captain of Indian cricket team. So Virat Kohli is in the team because he specialized in cricket, but not only in cricket, he specialized in batting in a particular style. So similarly, when you talk about field like information technology, it's a huge field. First, you have to identify your niche. And the niche, when I say niche is something that is very specific, that solves a very particular problem. So rather than thinking about the full IT field, you have to identify your niche and develop your competitive advantage in that particular field. So that field could be cloud computing, that field could be a specific thing in big data. Again, big data is broad field. You have to identify, okay, we are experts in how to. So pick a very, very small thing, but be the best at it. And then people would actually come for you. People would like to seek your services. So then saying, okay, we are a good IT generalist because we do website development, we do mobile app development, we do SEO, and so many things. I would never hire such a team, or I would never hire such a person. But if you come to me and say that we are a team that actually specialize in creating bots that create. Oh, sorry, my mic was on actually mute. I hope you're okay. Let me know if you are not able to listen to me. So what I was saying is that if you are okay, so what was I saying? All right. So I was saying that rather than thinking about the full thing, think about the niche. So if you come to me and say that I have got specialization in developing automated bots that work with Google Assistant, now that's something that's very lucrative. If you are starting from the beginning, start by developing a profile at Fiverr. Everyone gets a chance at Fiverr. Fiverr is fiverr.com. I use a lot of people from Fiverr because the gigs are pretty cheap over there. And the best thing about Fiverr is that people actually put what they can do. And then, so the way freelancing platform works is there are two different ways. There are freelancing platform where you as a freelancer put something and say, I am a person who can do, like, say, develop a robot for you that will do such and such, and I'll charge you $20 or whatever. There are other type of freelancing platforms like Freelancer and Upwork, where the customer posts their requirement and say that I'm looking for such person, and then you bid for it. Now, the easier way to get a job initially, when you do not have a lot of reputation, is to create a profile on Fiverr, identify a niche, and say that I can do it. If you are a content writer, rather than saying I can create content, it's again a huge field. Say I can create content for dentistry field, I can create content for law firms, and that will actually provide you with an amazing niche. And that's how you would be able to further optimize your service. Now, with relation to Australia, if you want to promote your service in Australia, create a profile on Upwork and start from there, and then develop the relationship with the clients. So with few initial clients, if you get one client from Australia, that's what I did initially. If you get one client from Australia, if you are charging them whatever $200, provide them a service worth $2,000. Just over deliver it. The problem is that we promise a lot, but we do not deliver it. And that's the biggest problem. And that's for even the job seekers. Whatever you are promising or committing, you actually over deliver it and develop those long-term relationships with people. And then you will start getting references from those people. And that's how your organization will grow. So I'll take a question from Instagram now. So we have got, do we have any questions? Okay. So we have got a question. Can a one person completely develop an app, or we must have to be a team? Well, it's always better to work in teams. If you are thinking of a startup needs a hustler, a hacker, and a hipster. So which means you need someone who could actually run the show, who could project manage it, someone who is really good at coding and someone who is good with marketing and design. So of course one person can develop an application, but it's always better if you work in team. Someone is good idea of marketing, someone who is good with design, and someone who is good with coding. So most of the successful businesses are the ones that are actually co-founded by a team of people, and they work together to develop it. There are few people like me who like to go solo, but even when I'm going solo, I don't do any work in my organization myself. I'm the one managing my team and so initially I invested in developing a team that could actually do the work for me. So it's always important, if you want to create something successful, is to actually build a team and then go from there. Now I'll come back to Instagram questions. I'll take a question from LinkedIn. So we've got few people from LinkedIn. So myself, chemical engineering undergrad. So it's from Nadeem Akhtar. Should I learn coding or go for MBA? Which one has better career spots in terms of pay package? Okay, Nadeem. The thing is, I know coders who are jobless. I know coders who are earning 2 lakhs or 5 lakhs per month as well. Similarly, I know MBA people who are jobless. I know MBA people who do not who are charging a very low cost, who do not have enough salaries. And I know MBA graduates again who are earning 10 lakh per month or more than that. So the question is again, and that is the biggest misconception that we have in our Indian subcontinent, that if we do this particular course, then I'll earn more, and if I do that particular course, I will earn more. That's not true. The thing is that you have to really identify where your interest lies. If you are doing chemical engineering, then why are you thinking about coding or MBA? Because you have just heard that chemical engineering school, MBA school. What's wrong with chemical engineering? I was a mechanical engineer. The only reason I shifted to technology was because I was fascinated by technology. I had interest in technology and I developed my skills in technology. That's it, because I actually had passion for the technology. Otherwise, if I had passion for mechanical engineering, then I would have pursued it, I would have excelled in it, and I would have even sort of obtained a really nice job in it. I would have created a business in it. And in fact, my first job was in mechanical engineering. So I tried my field. I didn't feel like I would fit in it. So that's when I shifted my field. So if you are in chemical engineering, don't get me wrong when I say you could choose any career. The very first thing is that you can build an amazing career in chemical engineering, right? So there are so many things you could do over there as well. You could go into forensics. You could go into neurology. Like there are so many hybrid options that you can choose when you are in chemical engineering. Even technology firms nowadays need chemical engineers as well. So a chemical engineering as a field, or mechanical engineering, or whatever course you are in, just because you think that there are less jobs or whatever, or you are not interested in it, it doesn't mean that you go for coding or MBA, right? You have to really introspect where your interest lies. But if your interest is in learning coding, again, coding is something that's sort of like referred to as school, but it's not only coding. You can actually go in marketing, you can actually go in designing, you can go into security, you can go in ethical hacking, you can go into gaming. Like there's so many fields you can go into. Of course, social media. There's so many fields that you can actually go into. There's plethora of options out there. You have to introspect and identify which fields to apply for. And the formula is pretty simple. Whatever field you think that is good, you don't have to right now choose between coding and MBA. Just try and develop a business model and try pitching it to some people. You would identify whether your interest lies in that type of thing. Similarly, if you think that you're interested in coding, try doing a project and see if you get successful in that or not, and whether that's something that actually excites you. Because no matter what you do, if you will love it, then it doesn't feel like that you are putting a lot of energy into it and then you spend days and nights. The reason I was able to excel in technology was because when I was working for it, I didn't feel like eating or sleeping. I was so engrossed in it. I was enjoying it so much that I really loved it. So as I said, if you love coding, then definitely go for it. If you're interested in MBA, go for it. But again, your own field, explore the things in your field as well, and you will find something. And the best way to explore is by trying and implementing it, and no one is actually stopping you to do it. So stop thinking, stop wondering what should I do, what if my decision is wrong. Every step is learning, and everyone's journey is unique. Not just because I was successful in coding, like it's not the reason that you would be successful in the coding as well. Like you might have to explore the fields. And the reason I was successful in establishing a technology company was not because of my coding skills. If you ask me to write a line of code or a page of code, I cannot do it yet because I'm not good at coding. I'm not good at designing. I'm good with people. I identify the right resources. I have a bit of fear of technology, so I understand how it works, and I'm good at understanding the problems and solving them through technology. And that's how my company operates. So you don't have to be good at a particular skill to develop your business or develop your career. It's about identifying what you are good at, where your interest lies, and then develop your career from there. And that's what building a dream career looks like. I'll take another question from Mubin96, which is on Instagram. Aamir bhai, should we follow passion or trend? Thank you so much for this question. This is an amazing question. Again, I get this question: should we follow passion or trend? That the challenge with the trend is that trend comes and goes all the time. So right now, Instagram could be in trend. So for example, TikTok was in trend. Everyone was making TikTok videos. And then the TikTok was banned on one single day. So right now, making videos or going live is in trend, but it might not be in trend anymore. The only way you can actually survive in this ever-changing world is that you actually follow your passion, follow what you like. Even if your passion is in something that's very traditional. For example, if your passion is in agriculture, right? If you like farming, do it. If you like, of course, look at what are the opportunities out there. That's why I talk about this SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunity, threats. First, identify what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, where your passion lies, and then compare it with the market. Look at the opportunities and threats, and then combine both of them. If you would just look at opportunities and threats and see that everyone is doing good in it, and you just go in there without looking at your strengths or opportunities or threats, your strengths and your weaknesses, if you don't look at your passion, then you might be following the trend, but the challenge is that you would not be satisfied with your career. And if you are not satisfied with what you are doing, you will never be able to excel in it. That's my guarantee. Like, no matter how good you are at with something, but if you don't enjoy doing it, you will not be able to sustain for a long time. And that's the biggest challenge. I'll take another question from Shanawaz Siddiqui from Facebook. I'm software engineer having 5+ year experience. I want to start my startup. What's the prerequisites? That's a good question. So Shanawaz is asking, he's a software engineer. He's having 5+ year experience and he wants to start his own startup. What are the prerequisites? No prerequisites for starting your own startups. There are literally no prerequisites, no qualifications for starting your own startup. All you have to do is you just have to have the courage to actually chase it and go for it. So again, I'll repeat myself. There are no requisites of establishing your startups. All you need is the courage to get started and persistence and determination to see it through. Because the challenge is that startup struggle is a lot. So startup journey is not easy. You have to face a lot of challenges. You have to face a lot of problems. You will face emotional stress and challenges. So when I went into the business very first time, I thought it's going to be a piece of cake. I'll start my business, and after that, I'll have my own independence. I'll have my own money and so on. But I was completely wrong. I actually had to struggle for 3 years before I could actually even sort of like save a bit of money. So, and there were conditions or situations when, and I'm talking about 2 years after I started my business, there were situations that I didn't have enough money to fill the petrol, like fill the petrol in the car. So I used to look for change and look for coins because I had to go and meet with the clients, and it was really stressful. So I sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed my emotion, like I sacrificed on an emotional level, I sacrificed financially, I sacrificed my personal relationships with people. It costed me a lot, but I could do it because I was passionate about it, and I knew that whatever I'm doing is worth it. So I was not just looking to succeed. I was not waiting for the time that once I'll succeed, I'll be happy. I was enjoying that process because I was following what I wanted to do. So if you really love what you want to do, and if you really enjoy the process, you would be successful. But if you are waiting that after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, there would be a time when I would be successful and then I'll be happy, then that's the problem. A lot of people actually either live in past, they repent on their past mistake, kash humne ye kar liya hota. And a lot of people would live in future, would say, बस मेरे पास ये हो जाए तो मैं जो है खुश हो जाऊंगा, बस मेरे पास थोड़ा सा पैसा आ जाए मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा, एक बार जो है मेरी नौकरी हो जाए मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा, एक बार जो है मेरा बिजनेस चल जाए मैं खुश हो जाऊंगा. उसके साथ प्रॉब्लम ये है कि जब आपके पास वो, जब आप वहां पे पहुंच जाते हो ना, वो एक मोमेंटरी खुशी होती है, फिर उसके बाद खालीपन आ जाता है. खुशी तब मिलेगी आपको जब आप वो चीज फॉलो कर रहे हो जो आप करना चाहते हो और आप उस जर्नी को एंजॉय करो. सो अगर आप जैसे रोड ट्रिप्स पे जाते हो, अगर आप ये वेट करते रहो कि जो है कब वहां पहुंचेंगे तब मजा आएगा, तो आप कभी भी एंजॉय नहीं कर पाओगे. द फैक्ट इज कि अगर आप उस जर्नी को एंजॉय करोगे, उस स्ट्रगल को एंजॉय करोगे, तो आपको मजा भी आएगा और अपना बेस्ट दे पाओगे. अदरवाइज आप रास्ते में थक जाओगे और आप गिव अप कर लोगे, क्योंकि रास्ता बहुत मुश्किल है. जब तक आप रास्ते को एंजॉय नहीं करोगे तब तक नहीं पहुंच पाओगे. सो अगेन आई वुड रिपीट इन इंग्लिश, द स्टार्टअप struggle or the startup journey is pretty difficult. If you don't enjoy the journey itself, you will never be able to reach the destination. And that's the crux of it. So I'll take a question. Do we have any questions from Instagram? Any more that I have missed? Okay. Sorry, Sunil Prasad. Sunil, I actually missed your question. So we have a question from Sunil. Sir, sometimes happens that we do some work, but that work cannot be done according to us. And we start to doubt ourselves whether this is right or not. Please guide. So Sunil is saying that sometimes we start something and we are not able to achieve it. We fail in it. And then we start to doubt ourselves whether we were right or wrong. So what are your thoughts on this? So my thoughts on it is that the only way to learn and only way to find the right path is to actually go and follow your instincts and follow like the way, like the journey to the success or the path to the success. It's not like a straight line. You can't just sort of like start from here and say, okay, this is my career goal, this is what I will do, and I'll reach over there. It doesn't work like that, and there's no magical way. I cannot tell you the successful pathway, and anyone who claims to do that is actually wrong, because everyone has to write his own story. Everyone's journey is different. What you have to do is you have to figure out your journey by the failures itself. So we look at the failures as something that is setback. So when we look at failures, because it has been taught to us like from the very beginning, when we were small, failures were frowned upon. Failures were not encouraged. Failures were really discouraged. Our parents used to scold us for failing in the class. Our teachers used to scold us on failing in the class. And that's the fear of failure that is now imbibed into our system. But the problem is with the real world, the only way to identify the successful path, because imagine it like you have to reach to a particular place. There are so many walls out there, but it's really foggy. You cannot see. So what you have to do is you just have to rely on your instinct and move forward. Because if you do not move forward, you will be standing in the same place after 5 years or 10 years or 15 years. What you have to do is you have to actually move forward in any direction that you feel like. Once you move forward, you will find an obstacle. That's fine. It's not a failure. It's just a feedback. So when you start looking at the failures as the feedback, not a setback, then you will learn from those failures and say, okay, there's a wall over here, which means I shouldn't be going in this direction. How about I try another direction? And then you move into another direction. This process is called pivoting. This is used in the lean startup methodology. Like this is a very widely acclaimed methodology, but it's used in career as well. So you have to start, you have to move in one direction, and no one can tell you what the direction could be. Like people can guide you and give an idea, okay, don't go there, don't go there, but no one can tell you what's the exact direction. There are no Google Maps in the life, right? You cannot set up a Google Map. What you have to do is you have to keep moving, and then whenever you find a feedback, move from there and then move in a different direction, and that's how you would be able to achieve success. So whenever you try to do something and you fail at it, like when I started trying to do my first business, I miserably failed in it. I tried second time and miserably failed it as well. If I would have given up on that, I wouldn't be talking to you. I would have been in a miserable job, in a miserable position that I wouldn't have liked. But I took that failure as feedback and said, all right, what was the reason that I failed? I took that information, I took emotions out of that failure and threw it away. Like, I don't care, right? Like, it doesn't matter whether I failed. Don't take the emotional burden of it, but think about what are the learnings from that failure, learn from those and move forward. And that's how winning is done. There is no other formula. There is no other secret. Anyone telling you otherwise is actually wrong. Anyone who has figured it out, whether it's Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, whether it's Steve Jobs or whoever it is, Steve Wozniak. I have worked very closely with Steve Wozniak. Steve Wozniak was the co-founder of Apple. He invented the first personal computer. And when I was talking to him, he actually mentioned that I didn't develop the computer the very first time that I tried it. I tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed. And I was thinking, what am I doing with my life, wasting my life trying to develop this thing? But I was so passionate about it that I just kept on trying until I created Apple. So you have to keep trying until you create Apple, and do not get discouraged by those failures, because those failures are not a reflection of your failures or your weaknesses. Those failures are just feedback. They are giving you the information that probably the direction that or your approach was not right, and this is the right direction. So think of them as something that is actually showing you the paths to move in a particular direction. I'll take another question from Instagram, and then I'll come to the question from YouTube and LinkedIn. All right, sorry. I'll jump onto the question from YouTube. King, is there any particular exam for cracking computer science undergraduate courses abroad with scholarships? No, there's no particular exam for, especially for cracking computer science courses. There are a lot of English examinations. So there are 3 English examinations that are widely accepted around the world: TOEFL, Ielts, and PTE. In Australia, all of these are valid. In some countries, 2 of these are valid. Or in some countries, only 1 is valid. So you have to identify which country you want to go to, look at the examinations, prepare for the examination. It takes 2 to 3 months to prepare for any English examination. I didn't prepare for an English examination very formally because I filled the form and I only had 2 months, and I was working in Honda at the moment, so I didn't get much chance. So all I used to do was just to watch English movies without subtitles, and then used to listen to a lot of podcasts. And for reading, I just started reading novels, things that interested me. Because again, if I would have studied, I have never liked studying actually. So if I would have tried to study for the examination, I would have failed. But because I did the things I was passionate about, and I learned just by doing it practically, I was able to succeed in that particular examination. So again, I hope I answered your question. So we've got another question from Muhammad Tazim, Bhai fan from ZCT Formula Racing AMU. Thank you so much, Tazim. Really appreciate that. Sajni Shiv, I also live in Australia. Where do you live, Melbourne or somewhere else? I actually live near Melbourne. It's a suburb called Geelong, which is like 1 hour from Melbourne. And it's a nice, beautiful town. My office is in Melbourne, Sydney, and Geelong, so I travel a lot to Melbourne and Sydney. Hope you answered your question. Nadeem Akhtar, myself, chemical undergrad from NIT Srinagar. So we got people from Srinagar. Welcome on board. Should I learn coding or go for MBA? Which one has better career prospect in terms of pay package? Okay, I think I don't want to end in a mass recruiter company like Infosys or Wipro by picking up coding. Again, Nadeem, I think we touched base on your question, but the thing is with mass recruiter companies, like it depends on you. For example, I got a job. I was in mechanical engineering and I got a job in TCS. I actually had some friends who didn't have any idea about coding. They just knew a bit about C in mechanical engineering who got placed in Accenture and TCS. And some of them are doing pretty well. So it really depends on, again, what you want to do. I did not want to go into those companies. So I went off campus and started looking for jobs in my core field. And that's when I found Honda Cars, interviewed for it, and then worked over there as a production engineer for around 1 year. So if you want to look in for the fields in your space, you can do that. A misconception again is that we think that if you do not get an on-campus placement, then you wouldn't get any job. That's not true. All you have to do is once you complete your graduation, go out in a metropolitan city, if you're already in metropolitan city, and just apply for jobs in a statistical way for 3 months. I can guarantee you that you will get a job. And I can talk to you about numerous examples of the people who got jobs through off-campus placement, and they are in amazing, amazing positions. So my brother-in-law, Saf, who used to be my junior in school as well, he studied computer engineering in Sharda University, didn't get any job in on-campus recruitment. So he started applying for off-campus recruitment. And that's when he appeared for an interview for a big data company. And then he applied for it, went through 5 rounds of interview and got placed in it. And he actually got the offer, which was much more than any of the on-campus recruitments. So don't just think about on-campus recruitment, think about the off-campus recruitments as well. Okay, now the next question. Sorry, we've got lots of questions here, but I promise I will cover all the questions. Shanawaz talked about sound. I hope my sound is fine now. Ayaz Ahmed, how you find the investors at early stage of business? So this question is about the investors, finding investors at the early stage of business. So finding investors early stage of business called seed funding or pre-revenue funding. And the people who invest in seed startups are called angel investors. These are the people who would invest a lower amount for a higher equity. To get the funding first, you have to develop a business model canvas. You can go to my website, aamirqutub.com, and you can actually download the business model canvas from there. You have to fill that up, then create a pitch deck. Once you have created your pitch deck, you can actually find investors on 2 websites, angels.co, angels.co, and another website is gust.com, gust.com. And there are quite a few other websites that are out there. But secondly, try connecting with people on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn is amazing, amazing tool. Just search for angel investors in there and try connecting with those people. Secondly, do a Google search for your city. So for example, if you live near Delhi, search for Delhi Angels. You will find a group called Delhi Angels over there. Similarly, I know of a group called Mumbai Angels. I've worked with them pretty closely as well. So Mumbai Angels is a group. So in every city, almost you will find an angel investment group. These are the people that are going to invest in your early seed stage startups. Now I'll take a question from Instagram. Chaudhry Analik, please explain IELTS and TOEFL test and ESL EFL test as well. So all of these are English tests. So IELTS is conducted by a different organization. TOEFL is conducted by a different organization. They've got a different formats altogether. All I can tell you about this is that these tests actually test you on your ability to communicate properly when you go into those countries. It's not looking for they are not cutting a lot of marks for grammar. They are not very concerned about how creatively you speak. It's more about how well you can actually communicate when you are studying in a course or when you are doing a job. And mostly with all the English tests, they revolve around 4 things: speaking, reading, writing, and listening, the 4 skills. And to enhance these skills, it's pretty simple. So to speak English better, there's no course that can teach you to speak English better. All you have to do is start speaking. Start a podcast or start speaking in English to anyone. If you don't have people you can talk to in English, just start recording your voice. That's it. For listening, pretty simple. Start listening to podcasts. As simple. You will gain knowledge as well and you will learn as well. not Indian podcasts. If you are looking to apply for UK, looking to apply for Australia, start listening to UK and Australian podcasts, or start watching UK movies or US movies, depending upon where you want to move, and without subtitles. Pretty important. Go on Netflix if you want to qualify IELTS or TOEFL. That's the headline for today. Similarly, for reading and writing, there's no alternate. For reading, you actually have to start reading the blog, start reading novels, whatever you are passionate about, just start reading about that particular topic, and whatever you are passionate about, start writing about that topic. It's as simple as that. It doesn't need to be very complicated at all. So we've got Mohammed Mehtab Alam. Hi, Aamir. I want to work in Australia. I have 10 years of experience in paint production. Please suggest which agency or recruitment agency I should approach. So to work in Australia, you actually have to get a PR, permanent residency. So the thing is that the Australian work environment or visa conditions are not similar to the ones in Dubai or any of the Gulf countries. To work in Australia, you actually need a work visa, and companies generally do not invite people on work visa. Those are very exceptional cases. Now, to get a work visa, either you do a 2 years of studies, post-graduation, and then you get a 2 years of work visa. The second thing is you can apply directly for a permanent residence in Australia, PR, or like a more permanent work visa. So there are subclasses like 189, 190, 489. Look at these three subclasses. And you can apply for them by yourself. You don't have to pay any agent to do that. Go on the immigration website, just search Immigration Australia. Don't go to any other website. The official immigration website, you can find all the information in there, and then you can learn from there and then apply. I've got a few videos on my YouTube channel. Just search 4 steps to Australian PR. That's 5 years old, so some of the information might be outdated, but that will give you a step-by-step guide on how to apply for a permanent residence in Australia. Mohammed Anas, Assalamu alaikum, Secretary Saab. Walaikum Assalam, sir. Mohammed Anas, I have 9 years of IT.NET developer experience. That's great. Ayush Tiwari, I have startup idea but don't know if it will work or not. I'll come to this, Ayush, but my Instagram audience is sending me some more questions, so I'll look at them quickly as well. All right, so that's all covered. Good. I can come to your question, Ayush. So Ayush has a startup idea but don't know if it will work or not. No one knows if it will work or not. The thing is that when Airbnb came up, the guys who founded Airbnb, when they came up with the idea, they went to investors, and most of the investors rejected their idea and said it will never work. So there were investors who had a lot of experience in the startup industry, but they had no idea whether it's going to work or not. So, and if you are starting a startup, you would not know whether it's going to work or not. And that's where lean startup methodology comes in, which says that whatever you are thinking about your business model, it's not a fact, it's a hypothesis. The reason startups are called startups and not businesses is because you are establishing a new business model that has never been tested before. So no one knows whether it's going to work. So when I invest in the startups and when I mentor startups, the founders ask me, what do you think about it? And I say, it doesn't matter what I think about it. What matters is what your customers think about it, what market thinks about it. And the only way to identify that is by developing a minimum viable product and putting it out to the market as soon as you can. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be complete. Just put something out in the market and see what the market's response is. If the market response is good, go ahead with it. Otherwise, don't go ahead with it. So I now have investment around 8 startups. I founded 3 myself. But the 3 that I founded myself are not the only one that I started. I've actually started around 8 startups, out of which 5 died. 3 are successful. That's all I need. So it doesn't like, even if you have got a lot of experience, even if you are investing in a lot of startups, even the startup guru, for example, the founder of Lean Startup Methodology, Steve Blank, would not know whether that startup is going to work or not. You have to figure it out. There's a methodology to do it, and you can learn it. Just Google Lean Startup Methodology and you will find all about it. Or go to aamirqutub.com and you will find a lot of resources on Lean Startup Methodology in there. Mohammed Anas, have an idea to build app but don't know where to start. That's a good question. I actually have got a specific video on that, Anas. It's called, if you go to enterprisemonkey.com.au, my website, go to podcasts in there, and you will find a specific podcast according to that. But if you have an app idea, you don't know where to start, the very first thing that you need to do is to do a market research, develop business model canvas. Go to aamirqutub.com, download business model canvas from there, fill that business model canvas, and then from there, rather than developing the full app, develop a minimum viable product. What is a minimum viable product? A minimum viable product is something very small that you could actually develop easily in 1 month or two, and actually develop it in the market. I think my video might be frozen. Is it? But that's all right. I'll just continue with the questions, or let me do something here. I'll just change my camera to my laptop camera. It's not very great, but I hope it will do the job. All right, guys. It's pretty late over here. We already passed 1 hour, so I'll take a few more questions and then take it from here. Mohammed Saleh is asked, sir, if I learn coding through YouTube, etc., then can I get the job? Of course, absolutely. If you apply for my company, I would never ask you what was your score in the market or where did you learn the coding from. As long as you have got the skills and you have done some projects on it, like even some rough projects for training, that's fine. That's all I need. I don't need anything more than that. So, and no company needs anything more than that. You don't need a certificate in coding. Like, I don't even look at the certificates. All you need is skills in the coding, and that's it. Nagma Irfan, finance, Python, and AI, best course for these three. It's a very different field altogether. You talked about finance, you're talking about Python and AI. Python and AI is pretty similar. Again, go to udemy.com and look for the courses. You will find some nice courses over there. There's so many courses out there. Just start with the cheapest one, learn from there, and then sort of take it from there. I can't recommend you one course specifically, but then you can go to aamirqutub.com. We have got a community of course providers and education providers. You can join the academy for free and actually ask people over there. There are a lot of people who are actually learning Python AI in there, so they can actually recommend you some really good courses. I hope I'm able to answer some question. Nitish, how to start a startup in college time? By Nitish, you have a lot of time when you are actually in college. Like, first of all, do not try to spend all of your time in studying. Try to take some time out for extracurricular activities. Try to take some time out for learning new skills and trying your startup. So all you have to do is, of course, attend your classes, get your attendance 60-70%, make sure that your marks are like 60-70% so that you are eligible for most of the companies. But you can actually focus rest of your time in establishing your startup. So when I was in college, I used to, of course, attend the classes, but then rest of the time I used to spend in developing my own projects. So those projects were like I developed a social network for my university. I started a magazine, and then I started doing some freelancing stuff. So you actually have got a lot of time when you are in college. And if you even go to investors and you say that I'm a college student and I've come up with an idea, they won't question your qualifications, because startup needs no qualification. All you need is of course an idea about a business model and willingness to go long way. That's all you need. Zishan is, hi Aamir, how is Geelong business environment and market for IT services? Zishan, I would say again, the market environment for IT services is pretty good anywhere in the world at the moment, especially with the COVID. The whole world has realized that there's a lot of dependence on the IT services. So everyone is actually pretty keen on grabbing those IT services. So the market is actually pretty great. Mohammad Wasil, sir, I'm fourth year electrical engineering student, and I decided to learn AutoCAD, electrical for designing and PLC designing, static designing. Should I start? Is there any scope industry regarding these? Vasil, if you like it, go for it. There is definitely look, AutoCAD is something that's prominent in construction fields, prominent in civils, prominent in electrical engineering. It's one of the very important basic skills. And the good thing is that you can actually start doing freelancing stuff right now on Fiverr. So go to fiverr.com, create a gig, and say I can do an electrical AutoCAD designing, and you will see you will start getting projects around that. Similarly, for PLC designing, these are the things that you can easily do even as a freelancer, earn a lot of money and gain a lot of experience doing that. So definitely go for it and knock yourself out. Mohammed Wasil, also I'll start to learn PLC SCADA. Yes, of course, go for it. It's automation is definitely a buzzword, and if you are interested in it, yes, I would definitely recommend going for it. Instagram audience, I'm not getting any question from your side. Sorry if you are feeling ignored. I'll look into your camera over there, and I'll answer your questions. So just feel free to send me your questions if you have any. All right, so going back to question from Facebook, Mohammed Roshan, what is the scope of public policy in Australia? Well, public policy is actually important anywhere in the world, and especially with the people being more educated about the democracy itself and asking more questions from the government. The scope is definitely high. The challenge, though, is that a lot of public policies jobs are with government, and for a lot of government jobs you need a citizenship before you actually can apply for those government jobs. There are some government jobs you can get by being a permanent resident, but if you're not a permanent resident, you're not on a temporary visa, it's difficult to do that. If you're not looking for a government job, if you're looking to work in a not-for-profit organization, you can easily do that. And there's definitely a scope with not-for-profit organizations and advocacy bodies as well. We have got Yash from Instagram. Hello, hi Yash. Again, just to repeat, if you want me to answer any question in Hindi, feel free to let me know, and I'm happy to answer those questions in Hindi as well. So I'll probably take 2 more questions and then I'll finish for today. Because it's getting pretty late over here. It's actually 2:30 a.m. in the night over here in Australia. Nagma Irfan, already done 2 courses on Udemy based on AI and Python. Any course which is blend of these 3? I would encourage, Nagma, if you've already done the courses, then you have an idea of what these things are. Rather than, again, doing one course after another, I would encourage you to do a project in these, right? So if you already have an idea of AI and Python, and if you have an idea about some different field, think about a project and start doing that project. When you start doing that project, you will find challenges, look for the answers, and learn from there. So again, I'm a big advocate of online learning, but too much of the courses would not lead you anywhere. My suggestion and my advice always is that you start by learning something and then implementing that thing over there. So we have got Fadi. Hello, Fadi. How are you? Okay, Nitish has asked from YouTube, how to develop Android app for my own startup without coding. There are a lot of applications out there. Just do a Google and search, create drag and drop Android app builder, and you will find a lot of applications out there. Just do a quick Google search, and there are a few different platforms. I will just search drag and drop app builder, and you will find fast field forms up, and then you have got Thunkable is one, THUNKABLE. So all I did was did a Google search, and I was able to find some simple suggestion from there. So you can do that from there as well. Vinod Varmasar, according to you, but we need to most to get successful in career. Okay, so I think your question, Vinod, is according to me, what is the most important thing to get successful in career? The most important thing to get successful in career is to identify where your interest lies, learn those skills, develop your passion in it, and then have the persistence and determination to see it through. If you will start compromising with your career in this early stage, then you would never be able to exceed in your career. If you start following the masses, you will never be able to exceed in your career as well. So what you need to do to be able to succeed in your career is to actually have the courage to identify your passion, develop your skills in that, and then have the persistence and determination to see it through. I hope I answered that question. We have got Josh from Instagram who's asked, but without coded apps are profitable? So probably the question is, are the apps without coding are profitable? The thing is that there's a misconception right now that the apps are profitable. The thing is that 97% of apps out there are zombie apps, which means they get no traction at all. So people would spend thousands of dollars developing those apps, put them on App Store, and no one would be able to do anything with that particular application. And so my suggestion over here would be to identify, why do you want to even develop an application? Why not a website? Why not something else? Why an app? Identify that. And then if you think that your app is unique, it's going to solve a problem or purpose, then go for it. Otherwise, your app will not be profitable. So my Instagram time has run out, so I won't be able to address further question on Instagram. I'll finish with the last question from Nitish. How to find a co-founder for my startups? Very easy. Put it on LinkedIn, put it on social media, and think about what are your weaknesses. Like, what are you good at? Are you good at coding? Are you good at management? Are you good at marketing? If you're good at marketing, look for someone in coding and management. If you're good at management, look for someone in coding and marketing. There are a lot of websites out there. There's like angels.co and few other ones where you can actually find people, co-founders online. But the best way to look at it is in your university itself. If it's a multidisciplinary university, you can find someone who's passionate about it. But the easiest way is actually put it out on LinkedIn, share it with people, and you would be able to find a good co-founder for your startup. If you can't find it, go to aamirqutub.com, register for the academy, put it in there. And there are a lot of people on there who are looking to be a co-founder on your startup. So you'll find someone over there. Dinesh Mathur, nice session. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope I answered all of your questions. And if I missed someone, I'm really sorry about that. I think I answered most of them. So I'll see you guys again at the same time, 9 p.m. Indian Standard Time on Saturday. Thank you so much. Stay blessed and take care of yourself. Goodbye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Aamir Qutub Show. We hope you gained valuable insights. Don't forget to get in touch with us via LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or our website www.aamirqutub.com. Stay tuned for the latest news and insights about jobs and careers. I hope